Hi there, this is Charmander, and in this video, I'm going to cover the best Rider-Hero pairs in this game, and specifically, I'm going to be covering the best Rider-Hero pairs for Field Battle, the best Rider-Hero pairs for Garrison, and also the best Rider-Hero pairs for Siege. This video will also illustrate why Rider mains is the cheapest compared to range and infantry. So try to guess why that is, and I will reveal the answer at the end of this video. So let's start off by looking at the best field pairs in this game, and the best field pair for Rider main is going to be Elena and Felix. Now, it doesn't really matter who the leader hero is because they both have the exact same talent tree. But with that being said, let's look at Elena first. So Elena's first skill is called Enforce Justice, which is a rage skill that deals damage to the target every second for 3 seconds with a damage factor of up to 5,400. So as you can see, this is ridiculous because that's pretty much 5,400 times 3. If the target is flanked, the damage received by the target will be increased by up to 5,950. This is just so ridiculous. This is so much damage. Her second skill is called Tactical Rollover. When receiving AoE damage, there is a 50% chance of reducing damage received by up to 40%. This effect can be triggered at most every 6 seconds. So this makes Elena quite tanky depending on who she is fighting. Third skill is called Ambush, which is a passive skill that increases Rider Squad defense by up to 30% and increases damage dealt to flank targets by up to 13.5%. Her fourth skill is called High Noon, which is a passive skill that increases basic attack damage by up to 30%. When rage is about 50%, basic attack damage increase up to 53%. So this makes her basic damage so strong, making her have amazing basic damage and amazing skill damage. Her awakened skill is called Mounted Law, which increases Rider Squad attack by 20% and travel speed by 20%. So if you awaken Elena, she is very fast on the field while also dealing additional damage. So her best field partner in this game is going to be Felix. Now, a lot of people will pair her up with Bella, which is a decent choice, but nowadays Felix has more utility, and you'll see why as I progress in this video. Felix's first skill is called Accelerate and Overtake. This is a rage skill where basic attacks deal bonus damage of up to 3,100 for the next 5 seconds. Each basic attack will also reduce enemy skill damage by up to 10% for 2 seconds. So this makes him really good at making him and his partner tanky because of reducing the enemy skill damage while dealing a huge amount of basic damage. His second skill is called Steady Airflow, which is a passive skill that increases Rider Squad travel speed by up to 18% and reduces counter damage taken by up to 44%. So this makes him good at chasing down the enemy and taking less counter damage when he is attacking that enemy. Third skill is called Champion Declaration, which is a passive skill where basic attacks have 20% chance to increase all damage dealt to by oneself by up to 1.8%. It increases up to 18%. His fourth skill is called Pit Stop, which is a passive skill that increases Rider Squad attack by up to 32%. When taking skill damage, increases own squad attack by up to 16% for 3 seconds. So as you can see, Felix is quite tanky as a result of all these abilities. His awakened skill is called Rapid Duel, which is a new skill, basically performing an additional basic attack every 10 seconds. This basic attack grants 70 rage and will not trigger counterattacks from the enemy. So basically, when you pair Felix and Elena together, they get a huge amount of basic attacks, and Elena creates a huge amount of skill damage, making them killer combo in the field. Next, we're going to cover the best Garrison hero pairs for Rider mates, and that's going to be Elena and Chasey. Now, I've already covered Elena's skill set, so we're going to cover Chasey. So her first skill is called Unethical Thief, which is a rage skill where her basic attack damage is going to be increased by up to 290% for 5 seconds if Garrison during this time reduces skill damage taken from ranged squads by up to 17.5%. Her second skill is called Lost in the Moonlight, which is a passive skill that increases Rider Squad HP by up to 30% while reducing skill damage taken by up to 7.5% against squads with a remaining squad size greater than 50%. Her third skill is called Lashing Whip, which is a passive skill that increases basic attack damage by up to 46%. If inflicted with silence, that has a 20% chance to deal 1 additional basic attack per turn for the duration of the effect. These basic attacks grant 20 rage. Her fourth skill is called Wits and Eloquence, which is a passive skill that increases Rider Squad attack by up to 32%. When Garrison, during this period, basic attacks have a 10% chance to deal damage up to 1,800 to up to 3 units in a fan-shaped area. This effect can be triggered only once in 6 seconds. Her awakened skill is a new skill called Shadow Stalker. It's a passive skill that increases basic attack damage dealt to the target's squad by 35% when its remaining squad size is less than 50%. So as you can see, if you pair up Chasey with Elena, Elena's High Noon passive skill that increases the basic attack damage by up to 30% will actually stack directly with Chasey's Unethical Thief that increases the damage of basic attacks by up to 290%, as well as Lashing Whip, again increasing the basic attack damage by up to 46%, as well as her Awaken skill that increases basic attack damage dealt to target squads by 35% when its remaining squad size is less than 50%. So those two are complete synergistic skills. Now, Elena and Chasey, when they're doing Garrison, they're probably going to be used for Garrison to fight off the Julia Bard combination or Julia and Lewis combination. And those two combination will be using an area of attack skill. So when they attack Elena and Chasey, it's going to trigger the reduction in skill damage taken by up to 40%, making her extra tanky combined with Chasey. Chasey also has Lost in the Moonlight, which reduces the skill damage taken by up to 7.5%, especially if the Julia Bard combo is fresh and has over 50% of their squad size remaining. And also the Unethical Thief that has a reduction in skill damage taken from ranged squad by up to 17.5%. So these two together makes an amazing pair for doing Garrison against Julia Bard or Julia Lewis combination. Last but not least, we're going to cover the best siege pairs for Rider mains. Now, I just want to mention real quick that Sven is actually really good as a Rider siege hero. So as you can see, he has a huge direct damage factor of 12,000, has a good amount of increase in Rider squad attack by up to 20%, and Rider squad defense by up to 20%, also good at reducing damage by up to 15%, and reducing damage taken by up to 12%, and bonus damage factor of 1,100. And when awakened, reduces counter damage by 20%. So he is actually, I would say, equally good to pair up with Elena for doing sieges as a Rider main. With that being said though, you can also use Felix, which in my opinion is equally as good as Sven for sieging. So why should you level up Sven if you already have Felix awakened? Because Sven can do a similar job to him. So in my opinion, if you don't have to level up Sven, unless you really want to, then you can just use Felix and Elena together for doing sieges. So on top of them being good together for field battle, you can also use them for sieging, allowing them to do a huge amount of basic damage to the enemy while doing a huge amount of skill damage because of Elena. Felix already makes you tanky as well. So if you're doing a siege against a ranged Garrison, if they're using the Lewis and Victor combination, or Lewis in general, because Lewis is the main Garrison hero for range, then Elena is already going to cause a reduction in skill damage taken, as well as it will stack with Accelerate and Overtake's reduction in skill damage taken by 10% by Felix. There's also a reduction in counter damage taken, making trades favorable towards the Rider main, and Felix will be dealing a lot of basic attack damage, while Elena is going to be dealing a huge amount of skill damage. So with that being said, yes, you can do Elena and Sven combination, and it's going to be very effective, very good. I would say roughly equal to Felix and Elena. But if you don't want to, you want to save those legendary hero fragments, then you can just go with a Felix and Elena combo, both for field and also for sieging. So to answer the question I asked at the start of this video, why Rider main is the cheapest, it's because Elena is pretty much the best Rider hero for siege, for field, and for Garrison. And then you can just pair her up with Felix, both for field and for siege, and then you can pair her up with Chasey for Garrison. This means you only have to awaken 3 Rider heroes to reach maximum effectiveness in those 3 battle types as a Rider main, compared to the infantry mains that needs 6 different legendary heroes, or the range main that needs 5 different legendary heroes. Anyways, I hope that you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.